Oregon Rainbow. Our Back in Time program is highlighting 3 tribute years in Oregon Grand Assembly history. This is our third Back in Time program, and we are honored to have with us Grant-worthy advisor Grace Wolbaum Height, famous for being the steampunk Odyssey Grand Year. So Grace, tell us a little bit about Grand Assembly for you. And we're so thrilled that you're here. And Grace, so many people remember your Grand Assembly and you as a rainbow girl going through the chairs. And we're just thrilled that you're here with us to share your experiences and your memories. So tell us about Steampunk Odyssey Grand Year.
Thanks, Christy. Well, it's great to be here. It's kind of a weird flashback. You don't realize how many years have passed until you think, wow, it's been 5. It's kind of crazy how time flies. But yeah, so I was a Grant-worthy advisor 2016 to 2017. Had the pleasure of having, I think, 19 grand officers that year. And we were on the Steampunk Odyssey journey together. It was pretty incredible. Grand Assembly kind of culminated in that 3-4 day period of time where we got to do a lot of fun events together and had some crazy, awesome decorations. Like, that was probably one of the highlights of my year, was seeing just how well my district came together and really made that entire Grand Assembly room shine. There were some really cool things there and some cool things that we did because of that. So it was a lot of fun.
Grace, can you talk about your mascots?
Yeah, so I have mine here as well. Our mascot was the wolf. And really, I chose this because I think, especially as young girls, a lot of times we underestimate our own strength and our own ferocity. And, you know, for me, I really wanted us to tap into that in a way that was representative of Rainbow as well as ourselves, and to really just kind of embrace that side of ourselves. And I thought it was a really great representation of that. And there's a lot of like really cool information about how wolves interact as a pack and take care of each other and are really like family oriented, that I thought related a lot to how we should be treating each other as rainbow girls and just people in general.
I agree. Yeah, I know. And plus they were so soft and cute. They're really,
I know.
So Grace, what about your service project? What did you and Oregon Rainbow do your year?
Yeah, so we built up funds for the transportation fund for the Shriner Hospital. So it was allowing people who didn't necessarily have the funds to get to the Shriner Hospital to get to that location to get the services that they need. And it was actually surprising to me how many people utilized that service. And, you know, it was kind of like you can hear a lot about kind of the flashy things that different organizations will do as far as like, you know, providing prosthetics and things like that, and, you know, big grandiose projects. But just the simple concept of getting people to the place where they're going to get those services is such an integral part of it. And that really spoke to me, because I was like, man, it doesn't matter if we're building a bunch of funds towards these services if people just physically don't have the ability to get there. And a lot of the people that they help are those in need and those who don't necessarily have the same kind of resources as others. And so that's a really important part of the way that Shriners is able to offer their services to those in need, is also getting them there. So we raised funds for that.
Yeah, it's a real hands-on, you know, it's all about life skills, and if you can't get to the services, then you're not benefiting from them. So that I remember that project. I thought that was really a great project.
Yeah, really my whole goal that year was to empower the girls of Rainbow, because that was the experience that I had in Rainbow. I kind of came to Rainbow at 14, having been homeschooled my whole life, and then I was homeschooled throughout high school as well, and didn't really have a lot of social skills, didn't really know how to make friends. And Rainbow really opened up a lot of doors for me in that way, and provided me a really safe community that I could learn how to do those things, as well as how to recognize my own strengths. And I think sometimes, especially when you're growing up, it takes someone coming alongside you and saying, hey, I see this in you. Hey, I see this, area in which you're either really excelling or that you could grow in, and really to be able to have that kind of relationship where you can speak into others like that is one of the biggest benefits that I saw being in Rainbow. And I wanted to perpetuate that, and be able to provide that opportunity for others and really to embody that myself as well. And, I'd like to say that I did a good job on that. I don't feel like I'm the, person to say that, but that was my goal.
How about your family? How did they do? How were they helpful to you for your grand year?
They were incredible. My family was very, very supportive throughout that time. My mom basically drove me everywhere. She also made all of my dresses, basically. So she was very, very involved, very supportive. You can't do this alone, much less at the age that you are in Rainbow. Like, it's just impossible. But a lot of times I know assemblies will kind of be the stopgap in between and really step in to help with those things. And my assembly definitely did that, as well as my district. But my family was a huge support during that time. And really showed their support by being actively involved and providing that opportunity for me in the first place and encouraging me to do that.
How did you interact with Pledge? Because
Yeah, so we had a pledge group at my lodge, and so we would participate in their pledge meetings when available too. So we were interacting with them pretty frequently during that time. And then, they would have different pledge girls there, either participating in the official visit or just around. And I always tried to make an intentional effort to interact with those girls, because they're really the foundation to Rainbow, the same way that we talk about how the Masonic youth groups are the foundation of the other Masonic adult organizations. They're the ones that we really should be investing in the most. And so I always tried my best to interact with them and get to know them and go to events with them whenever I could, so that I could show my face, not just in like this big gown with a crown, but also just like as a normal person that they saw me as, so that it wasn't quite so intimidating.
do you have any advice, Grace, for Rainbow today, for Oregon Rainbow today?
Yeah, I think for me, one thing, if I could go back in time, if I could really go back in time and change something, is I would really just take ownership of my experience and of the organization that I was in, and to make it the best that it could possibly be, not only for that moment, but also for the future. And knowing that sometimes that's going to require change, and that might be painful, but ultimately, if it's what allows you to touch more lives and to make more girls prepared for life, then that's what's the focus should be. And that's what's really important, is really understanding what you can do in that moment and doing that, and really, like I said, being present, being where you're at, and really taking advantage of that opportunity. Time definitely teaches you a lot of things. And I think a lot of times you can get caught up in the moment and what you think is important, and to have the ability to look back and see, oh yeah, maybe that little thing wasn't all that important, and I could have made a huge impact if I had focused more on the people that I was around and the relationships that I had. That's where my impact was. And that's where, the people that are currently in Rainbow are going to have their impact, is in the relationships that they have. The final thing that I would say really is just, like I said, have fun. Don't take it too seriously. This organization is wonderful, and I learned a lot about myself through it. I learned a lot about what it means to be a good friend, and what it means to focus on the things that are really important in life. And if you really take advantage of the opportunity that you have to be in this organization, to be here right now with these people, then you're gonna look 5 years down the road back at this moment and say, yeah, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about how to be a good friend, right? So that's what I would say.
Well, Grace, we have enjoyed having this 5-year look back at the Steampunk Odyssey, and all of the ways that you helped Oregon Rainbow to grow and prosper and model for so many young girls. Do you have a message for our Grand Worthy Advisor for this Grand Assembly?
Enjoy the ride. honestly. It's such an incredible experience, and you're going to look back at this year and you're going to get tears in your eyes. You're going to be so grateful for this time. Just don't blink. It's going to go by in an instant, and you're going to love every second of it. And it's going to be one of the things you cherish most in your life. So just enjoy the ride, learn to let go of what you need to, and really enjoy the ride. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Well, I think that she could use that advice and she'll probably take it. We hope we will see you again. And we're going to be at Grand Assembly in Cottage Grove this year. So this will be different for us. And yeah, we hope to see you again at some rainbow function. So thank you so much for your time and for your candidness and for sharing your memories and your accomplishments. Thank you, Grace, very much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes.